All right, let's dive into one of the most electric rivalries in all of soccer. Pumas versus America. You know, this isn't just any old game. This is the Clásico Capitalino. It's a battle for bragging rights in Mexico City. And wow, this latest showdown, it delivered a story packed with tension, a ton of controversy, and a finish that had literally everyone on the absolute edge of their seat. So let's get right into it.
And really, this one line says it all. It basically translates to, in an agonizing way, Pumas rescued the victory. And agonizing is the perfect word for it. Trust me, this wasn't some easy, straightforward win. This was a victory snatched right from the jaws of a draw in the final, heart-stopping seconds of the match.
So to really understand that agonizing finish, you first have to feel the atmosphere. Because the Clásico Capitalino, it's more than a game, it's an event. And Pumas, playing on their home turf, they made sure everybody knew it. I mean, just try to picture the scene before the game even started. This wasn't just a couple of flags. We're talking about the main Puma supporters group, La Rebelle, unveiling this gigantic fan mural, a tifo, that covered an entire section of the stands. You pair that with a huge pyrotechnics show and the university's anthem blasting, you could just feel the passion and the pressure building before a single ball was even kicked. It was incredible.
And all that energy in the stands? It was totally matched by the coach's ambition on the field. Efraín Juárez did not play it safe. He sent a really clear message by starting with 3 forwards, Memo Martínez, Junio, and Robert Morales. The strategy was obvious. Go for the win, feed off that home crowd, and just attack, attack, attack.
So, you've got this wild atmosphere, this super aggressive lineup. How did it all actually play out on the pitch? Well, you know, despite that fiery start, the game itself, it took a very different turn. Yeah, for almost 90 minutes, this explosive rivalry turned into something more like a chess match. It was tactical, it was gritty, a total deadlock. Both teams just seemed to cancel each other out. There were hardly any clear-cut chances to score, and the game just felt like it was simmering, you know? Just waiting for one little spark to set the whole thing off. It was tense for sure, but for a long, long time, it was quiet.
And this is where that quiet game absolutely exploded. 90 minutes of tactical gridlock just gave way to 7 minutes of pure, unadulterated chaos and drama.
Okay, so let's walk through this minute by minute. It all kicks off 1 minute into stoppage time. America's defender, Cristian Borja, brings down Pumas forward Memo Martínez inside the penalty box. At first, play goes on, but then the whistle. The VAR booth is buzzing the referee. He jogs over to that little monitor on the sideline. The entire stadium just holds its breath for 2 whole agonizing minutes. Then he points to the spot. It's a penalty. The pressure is just immense. Robert Morales, one of those 3 starting forwards, he's the one who steps up, and he calmly slots it home. The crowd just erupts. And then, only 2 minutes later, the final whistle blows. Pumas win. Unbelievable.
So what a finish, right? But you know how it is in these massive rivalries. A hero's big moment is often shadowed by a little bit of controversy. So let's break down who stepped up and what questions were left hanging in the air after the whistle.
After 90-plus minutes of that gridlock, who was the one player to finally break it all open? Who delivered under the most insane pressure you can possibly imagine?
It was Robert Morales, the man they call La Pantera. He was the one who had to take that penalty in the 95th minute, with the entire Clásico hanging in the balance, and he made 0 mistake. For the Pumas fans, there is no question, he is the hero of the night.
But here's where it gets messy. Here's the controversy. So while that Pumas penalty was given after a long, careful VAR review, America was left absolutely furious. Why? Well, they argued that just moments before that foul, there was a potential handball by a Pumas defender, Tony Leone, inside his own box. That incident, though, it was never reviewed by VAR. So you see the issue here. One critical moment gets put under the microscope, while another one that was just as potentially game-changing was basically ignored.
So after a dramatic, controversial result like this, where did these 2 giants go from here? Well, after the international break, there is absolutely no time to rest. For America, they've got to find a way to shake off this really painful loss as they travel to face Santos. And for Pumas, who are riding high on this incredible, emotional victory, they're heading into another massive rivalry match when they visit Chivas. 2 huge games that are going to be shaped by the momentum or lack of it from this very Clásico.
And all of that brings us to our final thought here. Look, we saw a hero in Robert Morales. We saw incredible passion from the fans. But when one game-deciding call gets reviewed and another one doesn't, it leaves you with this lingering question. In a match that's all about human passion, human skill, and human error. Was the true main character of the Clásico the technology that ultimately decided its fate? That's something to think about.